Finally, in that meeting with the Bengal Chief Minister, Mr. Buddhadev Bhattacharya, what really transpired? What did he tell you? What did you tell him?
Well, first of all, the Chief Minister is somebody I admire tremendously. I went there because of him, and I would be there today because of him. So I would say that meeting was perhaps my hardest meeting that day, because I was, in a way, felt I was having to give bad news to both of them, which is the last thing I wanted to do. And then when I had to tell them that we had a time-bound project and we couldn't just wait, as we had been doing, and the plant had remained closed for about a month, then they started to state quite firmly that they couldn't agree with this decision, and this was a big blow to them. So they were very predictably quite distressed. It's to the credit of both of them that we agreed that we should, while we take the Nano project out, that we don't say bye-bye to West Bengal. And that was never our intention. We have no dispute with the government of West Bengal.
It is just the opposition.
It's just the opposition, and quite frankly, we've dealt with opposition before, but never opposition that whose modus operandi is agitation, aggression, intimidation constantly.
Are you trying to say there was never an attempt by the opposition to really look for a solution, even despite the intervention of the governor, Gopal Krishna Gandhi?
No, I would say not. And you know, if there is an issue that one has, after all, we were supposedly the incumbents of land that Mamata Banerjee thought was illegally acquired by the West Bengal government. And if she were truly interested in the farmers, one would have thought that she or someone from a party would approach us and ask us what we would do for her constituents. And I'm sure that we could have worked together in terms of community development, jobs, etc., to satisfy her. But that was not the case. It was an attack on the government. We were the victims, if you might.
Mr. Ratan Tata, you're on the Prime Minister's Advisory Council. You're the chairman of the Investment Commission. And the entire corporate India was rooting for you throughout this imbroglio, if you can call it that. If Mr. Ratan Tata's investments are not secure, many would say, whose investments are secure in this country?
I hesitate to give you the answer I'm about to give. But in India, for the very reasons that you mentioned earlier, there are many who would find a solution for this problem which we could not find. And those solutions work in many cases, but in each case, I think it depreciates from the fabric of the value system in the country. So if somebody publicly or privately says we could have found a solution, I'm afraid that option was not open to us, so we chose not to have that as an option.
Do you feel let down that the center didn't step in? Could they have?
I don't know whether they could have, but to the extent that some of the political parties in a covert kind of way supported Mamata Banerjee because of their own difference with the ruling state government, I think that was sad. But whether they intervened or not was not an issue. I think the covert support was a disappointment.
Mr. Tata, the covert support that you're talking about could only be the Congress because we're talking about West Bengal. But let me bring you to this question. The statements that came from some political parties just after your announcement for withdrawal, some called it an act of arrogance. Mm-hmm. Some called it left making it into an election issue. How do you react to these statements?
You only react by saying that those same persons made completely opposite statements at various other times. I think the truth is that, if I might say so, people thought we were bluffing and that we were posturing the fact that we would move if the situation didn't improve and that we didn't have a sustainably cordial environment. And at various times, words were used that we were blackmailing the government, that we were posturing, that we should go, who's stopping us, that the people of West Bengal had decided they did not want us. All those things were said. And some were said by the very persons who then said moving was an act of arrogance or a women fancy of the company. So when we did move, these contrary statements were made. So I've chosen to give them the kind of importance that they deserve, that they're made on the spur of the moment to serve the